Well, thanks for joining me today. I've got another funny cowboy poem here for you today. This one's called The Horse Trade by Sonny Hancock. Well, I traded for a horse one time. He wouldn't take no beauty prize. A great big long-eared blue roan gelding. Not too bad for weight or size. Well, I had to make some tough old circles, and this trader guaranteed this horse would show me lots of country, not need too much rest or feed. Now he said, now this here ain't no kid's horse, but he will pack you up the creek. He will bump up on some occasions, and he has been known to kick. Now I wouldn't trade him to just anyone without having some horse, but if you're a sure enough cowpuncher, then mister, this here's your kind of horse. Well, the next morning I stepped on that horse. He began to buck and bawl. Well, that trader maybe hadn't lied none, but he sure hadn't told it all. Because we sure tore up the country where he throwed that equine fit, and I almost ran out of handholds by the time he finally quit. Well, I guess that must have set the pattern. Things just never seem to change. Although I showed him lots of country every corner of the range, or every time I'd ride that booger, why he'd keep me sitting tight. And I'd know I'd make at least 3 bronc rides before he packed me home that night. Well, but the thing that was worse than that, put a damper on my pride, was that he was learning how to buck faster than I was learning how to ride. Well, I pulled into camp one evening, and I see a gray horse in the corral. It was getting pretty late. I looked that gray horse over, and I sure liked what I seen. Then this kid showed up around. He must have been about 16. He said he had lamed that gray that morning coming down off the granite grade, and he asked if I had a horse, and if maybe I'd like to trade. Well, he said he didn't have time to stop and rest and let him heal, and since beggars can't be choosers, why, he'd make most any kind of deal. Now, when a feller's trading horses, why, almost anything is fair, so I traded him my blue roan for his gray right then and there. But then my conscience started hurting when I thought of what I did to trade a fly-blown dink like that off to some little wet-nosed kid. So the next morning after breakfast, I tells him, listen, lad, if you want to know the truth, that trade you made last night was bad. That blue roan horse is a mean one, bad as anyone you'll ever see. He'll kick you, strike you, stampede. He's a sorry SOB. It's all I can do to ride him, and I'll tell it to you straight. I think you'll be awfully lucky just to ride him past the gate. Now there's 2 or 3 old horses out there in the saddle bunch. They ain't got too much going for them, but I kind of got a hunch. They'll probably get you where you're going if you just don't crowd them none. But darn, I sure hate to see you ride that blue roan booger, son. He says, well, I appreciate you telling me what a bad mistake I made. But my old daddy always told me that when you're trading, no matter how you feel, even if you take a licking, that a deal is still a deal. Now, you say that horse has lots of travel, not too bad for speed. Well, sir, I'm kind of the type. That's exactly what I need. Well, I traded for him fair and square, and darn his blue roan hide, but when I ride out of here this morning, that's the horse I'm gonna ride. Well, I watched him cinching up his saddle. He pulled his halfway down. He climbed up into the rigging like he's heading straight for town. And he tipped his head straight back, put the spurs and got the blue roan hair flying, and he tipped his head straight back and screamed like a hungry mountain lion. Now, I've heard a lot of stories about the bucking horse ballet. I've heard of poetry in motion, but the ride I saw that day, just plumb complete, defied description. Although I could see it plain, like it was branded in slow motion and was branded on, like it was happening in slow motion, was branded on my brain. I don't suppose I could explain it to you even if I tried. The only thing I can say is, by the saints, that kid could ride. He just sat there plumb relaxed like he was laying home in bed, and every jump that pony made, why, he was a half a jump ahead. When it was over, I decided there are a few things I could learn still. So I walked over to him and said, son, I'm awfully sorry I misjudged your riding skill. He just said, shucks, that's okay, mister, then turned and headed on his way. He says, but if you think this horse can buck, don't put your saddle on that gray. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that poem. Good thing this ain't any one of them horses. This is a really good horse. This is Weed that I'm on today. What a funny name for a horse. When he was a colt, he preferred eating the weeds before the grass hay, so we called him Weed Eater. And then later on that got shortened down to just Weed. Thanks for watching. We're doing some leadership workshops out here, half day and full day leadership workshops. Hope to have you come out and enjoy some horse riding, some cowboy poetry. You can come out to our place and do the workshops, or I can come to your place of work and do the workshops, or we're doing virtual events also. We'll leave you some details here at the end of the video with all that. But what our goal is with this is to show you some horse training exercises and how those things can help kind of open your mind to some different ways to lead people and some better ways to lead people. Hope you enjoy. Sadly, Rio probably wouldn't be going with me to your place of work though, or whatever, so sorry Rio, you don't get to go with us. Thanks guys.